Hello, everyone. Ben Briggs here, and welcome to another episode of the Better Digital Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Ben Briggs. And today, what we're going to talk about is post-click optimization. Specifically, what is post-click optimization, and why is it the only way to win at Google customer acquisition in 2020? So let's start with the beauty of pay-per-click. So the reason why we're starting with pay-per-click when we're talking about post-click optimization is that pay-per-click and paid search, paid social are really the key traffic sources that you can use to put traffic in the funnel to be able to start optimizing, to start doing this post-click optimization. So if you're going to have a post-click optimization, first you've got to have a click. Now the beauty of pay-per-click and the beauty of paid search specifically is that it's immediate, it's personalized, it's permission-based. So the customer just searched for product X, and then boom, there's your ad for product X. And you can personalize that depending on exactly how a customer searches. Obviously, a customer might search in a number of different ways. When they're looking for a product or a service like yours, maybe they're searching for one of your products, not the other one. So paid search allows you to customize the message and make sure that it's absolutely relevant to the person who's doing the searching. And then as far as permission-based, whereas if you are watching a TV show or you are listening to podcasts or the radio, the advertisement is going to come in the middle. But when you're talking about a search ad, the customer is currently right now raising their hand and saying, I'm in the market. I'm looking for information about this product or service right now, and then pay-per-click allows you to immediately reach that person. So it gives you a tight control over the context and the message. It's a reliable source of traffic, and it allows you to drive a consistent audience, and that's going to perform similarly over time. In most cases, there can be some exceptions, but that's really the beauty of pay-per-click is that it provides you this reliable source of motivated traffic. So that's really good, is the ability to have a steady stream of interested prospects coming in for your business. So the click in the pay-per-click is the moment where the user comes to your website. Usually, I mean, if it's paid search, they're going to be clicking a text ad. If you are moving up the funnel a little bit, you're into paid social, or maybe you're doing some display or video, then they could be clicking. But the example customer journey is somebody searches a keyword, they see your ad, they click on it. Once they click, everything that's happened, all of the optimization that's happened before the user actually comes to your website is the pre-click optimization. So if you were running a TV ad, then the creative that you've put together, the 15 or 30-second spot. If you are running a paid search ad, the keywords that you've selected, the negative keywords that you've entered, what your bid strategy is, what you have done in terms of optimizing your creative and adding ad extensions. Those would be all of the pre-click optimizations. So on the post-click side, this is going to be, how are you following up with your customers? Do you have a pixel on your page so that you can monitor what they do when they're on your site, how they're interacting with your site, whether or not they make a purchase? How are you testing landing pages? Do you have two different landing pages for similar traffic sources to find out which page is working better in terms of driving a good business result? And then so you can repeat that process and continually upgrade your landing page, because when users click the first page of your site that they go to, that's going to be called the landing page. And testing that landing page, testing half your traffic on two different landing pages and continuing to do that over time to improve the performance of your landing page is a key element of post-click optimization. Whereas the stuff that we talked about as far as updating the creative of your ads, looking at the images that you're using, the videos that you're using, your bidding strategy, the platforms that you pick, these are all pre-click optimizations. Then the post-click optimization is about how are you re-engaging with the user, whether that's through display or email, and what kind of content are you showing the user once they come to your site. That's the post-click optimization. Now, the pre-click optimization generally influences higher in the funnel areas, your awareness, your consideration. There's some optimization that can go on the conversion point, but you have to have a really good idea that the customer is actually trying to purchase the product. Now, this can happen. I mean, you can have somebody search, buy shampoo online, right? Now you've got a pretty good idea that this person wants to buy some shampoo, so you could call the search ad that you're putting against the query buy shampoo online, you could call that a part of the conversion. But most of the conversion end of the work, and then also the loyalty and advocacy, which is how you really get those good returns from paid search in 2020, are happening on the post-click side. So one reason why we like to focus on, like I said, paid search traffic is that it lives a little bit lower in the funnel than your paid socials or your display, especially your programmatic, which I'm pretty bearish on, your video ads, your over-the-top TV, all of this kind of stuff lives higher in the funnel as far as awareness and consideration, whereas your paid search and then your post-click optimization, which includes your email and your SMS and your remarketing campaigns, live lower in the funnel. So in an average performing paid search campaign is going to give you a higher return on investment than an average performing over-the-top TV or traditional terrestrial radio campaign or something like that. So getting your conversion traffic in place and then working through what you need to do to have a solid post-click optimization in place to maximize that customer lifetime value is the highest return effort that you can do until you've done it. I mean, obviously, once you've got a very good post-click optimization process in place and you're maximizing your customer lifetime value using that process, then it'll magnify the benefit that you get when you move to higher funnel tactics. So a couple examples of awareness type channels, TV, radio, outdoor, those are your traditional awareness type driving channels. If you're on a niche podcast where you know something about the audience and then your product is somehow relevant to that audience, then that could be more influencing the consideration part of the funnel. You could have events, maybe you are going to a trade show, you are selling a product or service that's relevant to the specific industry that the trade show is about. That would make sense. When you're looking at the conversion part of the funnel, it's your non-branded paid search, your display remarketing, your social remarketing. Then all the way down in the loyalty and advocacy land, you've got your branded paid search, your SMS follow-up, which a lot of people aren't doing. SMS is going to continue to be a bigger channel. It's kind of the new email because you can listen to somebody like Gary Vee talking about how he used to get 90% email open rates back in like 1997, 1998. That's kind of what we're seeing with text. Most everybody is interacting with text messages right now. So those are the kinds of channels to think about, and we'll talk a little bit more coming up on which ones to focus on and how. So we talked a little bit pre-click optimization. So pre-click optimization, it's targeting the right users, writing compelling ads. It's using eye-catching images, stuff that kind of jumps off the page at you or is particularly relevant to this audience for some reason. And then it's also filtering out the irrelevant traffic, trying to find, hey, how can I get rid of Can I make sure that nobody under the age of 18 sees my ad? Can I make sure that somebody who's searching for product review videos, or isn't seeing my ad that I'm intending to target people who are all the way at the end of the buying cycle, people who are just ready to buy. I want to make sure that they're seeing one ad, whereas somebody who's more in the research phase is seeing a different ad. So controlling those sorts of things is part of your pre-click optimization. Now, most advertisers, most agencies fail to take advantage of all of the Google and Facebook ad platform features, which are necessary for good pre-click optimization. So there's definitely a lot of opportunity. There's still a lot of opportunity to improve what's happening and how efficiently you're buying your traffic on the pre-click side. But automation with Google's automation getting better. I mean, I've seen, for instance, regular broad match keywords were really, really completely terribly horrible, back in, like a 2011, 2010, 2011 type time frame. They would just be matching to everything in the world. You'd just be buying all kinds of garbage traffic with those regular broad matches. But that's gotten better. The automation has gotten better, and it's allowed people who are not very sophisticated or not very active, not putting very much effort into their pay-per-click management. It's allowing those people to get a little bit better performance than they would have in the past. So the pre-click optimization tools, it's important to take advantage of them. We're not going to dive into all of the things that we do at Samurai Direct Response to help our clients and give them better pre-click optimization on this video. That's going to be a really big topic that we're just going to be working through on the Better Digital Marketing podcast on an ongoing basis. But pre-click optimization, again, the basic idea is that this is the stuff that we're doing before we get the user to our website, and it's important. But in 2020, it's not as important as your post-click optimization. So this is the old model. The old model is really, really simple. You buy the paid click, you send the user to your website homepage, and then you get a lead. They call you. They fill out a form. They get a lead. So in the good old days, this worked absolutely great. I mean, we would. I was working for this agency. We would, sell a realtor on the idea that they should buy the word Portland homes for sale. We drive people who clicked on Portland homes for sale to, in a lot of cases, we just use an online business card. I mean, it would just have the realtor's picture and then their phone number and a little bio, and that worked great. The traffic was so cheap and there were so few people going after it that it didn't really matter. You didn't really have to nurture the lead. You didn't have to effectively follow up with the customer with remarketing ads. You didn't have to do all this stuff because the traffic was so cheap that even if you had a 0.5% conversion rate or a 1% conversion rate, that was totally fine. You could buy 100 clicks and only get one customer and still be really, really profitable. So this is the old model. This is the model that a lot of people are used to, especially in the small business world. But you'd be surprised how many enterprises, how many big brands are really closer to this than they are to the post-click optimization model that we're going to talk about in a minute. So like I said, now that Google ads, we're in 2019, coming up on 2020, and Google, everybody's buying Google ads. Everybody and their brother's on there. So these paid clicks have gotten more expensive. And just driving them to your website homepage is not the most efficient way to convert customers, because you want to have the page content that the user goes to after they've done the search needs to be relevant to what the customer intent was before they did the search. So this is the old model. So this is the bad conversion rate, low relevance model that that really it was effective. If you got in, I mean, if you were buying Google ads, if you're a plumber buying Google ads in 2005, you were doing great. The cost was really low. You just drive the traffic to your homepage, and then people call you, and you're getting a great return on ad spend. But now that everybody and their brother is buying Google ads, it's more expensive. So what we have to do as advertisers in 2020, what we have to do if we want to win in paid search, if we want to be able to buy Google traffic and acquire customers and do that profitably, then what we have to do is a little bit more complicated. So instead of just having the paid click, driving it to our website and then profit, right? then the customer is going to take care of the rest. They'll sign it up. They'll take care of it. The traffic's more expensive. So what we have to do, so first we have to do all our pre-click optimization all the way up there at the top. We have to do all our pre-click optimization before we buy the paid click. And that stuff's important. And if you need help with that, then just reach out, just contact me at Samurai Direct Response. And we'll show you how to get that stuff squared away. But your landing page. So once the user comes to the landing page, your landing page can't be your homepage. It's your homepage is about your brand, and that's where the content on your homepage should be about your brand, not necessarily. I mean, you can feature products, obviously. Maybe you've got your top selling product and you've got a video about that on your homepage, and that's great. But it's not about your specific product that this person just searched for. So what you've got to do is make sure that your landing page is exactly relevant to whatever the user searched for. So that's a key optimization point of the post-click optimization is, one, making sure that your landing page is highly relevant. That's going to improve your quality score. It's going to allow you to buy the traffic at a lower cost per click. And so that's going to have a positive impact overall on this whole system. And then your landing page also needs to be optimized for conversion rate. You need to be looking at what kind of valuable actions can the user take, and how can I set up my page in a way that's going to help the users take those valuable actions. Now, a valuable action could be a primary conversion. Primary conversion, if you are, let's say, a home loan. You sell home loans, right? You're Quicken or Rocket Mortgage or somebody like that. Then you want the user to fill out a form to apply for a home loan. So that's your primary conversion. Now, if a user does that in the first visit, then awesome, great. Send them to the sales team. Send them to your fulfillment. If you're an e-commerce advertiser and somebody clicks an ad, goes to the landing page. Oh yeah, that's exactly the product I wanted. They sign up, they create an account, they put in their credit card, then send it to fulfillment. All you have to do is fill the order now. Everything's great. In that case, which, for most advertisers, this is going to be somewhere between, maybe 0.5% to, at the most, say 5% of your paid traffic of new users who are coming to your website for the first time. It's not going to be a big chunk of those users who are going to go ahead and go all the way through the process and actually purchase your product or sign up as a lead, through the primary conversion. So you want to be optimizing for that. Of course, you want to be doing everything you can to reduce friction and to make it easier for customers to go all the way through your funnel and to complete the primary conversion. So that's definitely a process that you need to be thinking about. That's part of your post-click optimization. But if you don't also include that soft conversion, and what we mean by a soft conversion is anything that allows us to keep in touch with the customer, any data about the customer, any personal data that they can provide to us, any email address that we can follow up with, if they give us a phone number, and we can either call them, but we're probably not going to call. We'll probably use SMS because that's a lot less expensive, it's a lot less time consuming, which makes it a lot more effective. So usually you're going to, on the soft conversion, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be saying, okay, I know that 95 to 98% of my traffic is not going to purchase the product right now. And it's because they've got some kind of question. Maybe they don't trust my brand yet. Maybe maybe they don't have the money right now. They're just thinking about the purchase. So what can I do as a seller of this product to give the customer some value in exchange for their personal information, in exchange for the ability to connect with them? So what could happen is, after the user, maybe the session stalls, maybe maybe they're on desktop and we can determine that they have exit intent. We could fire maybe a popover, or it could just be an element on the page that encourages them, hey, give me your email address and I'll give you a free buyer's guide about whatever product it is that we're currently talking about. Or I'll give you a discount, especially for an e-commerce merchant. Sign up for emails and get 10% off. Sign up for text alerts and get 10% off. You're seeing a lot of this now. You're seeing a lot of the more sophisticated players, especially in the e-commerce market, are starting to get into text as opposed to email on the soft conversion side. But you need to be doing some of this stuff, and you need to be working on capturing emails, capturing customer information from people who are coming to your site from your advertising campaigns, who aren't yet, fully converting. You need to capture those people who are still in the buying process, and then do the lead nurturing, follow up with them. So you're going to have a series of emails, maybe that give the customer new information. You can start to segment. If you've got enough traffic, you can start to segment different leads and send them different pieces of information. But regardless, you need to be putting this process in place and starting to optimize it. At least that, you need to be at least that far. You've got to be capturing that customer information, capturing the soft conversion, and then starting to do the lead nurturing. Now, some of your customers, like we talked about, are going to go all the way through the primary conversion. They're actually going to do the buying. That's awesome. They're great. They're our favorite customers, right? Some of them are going to complete a soft conversion. Some of them, if you're at least asking for the information to be able to follow up with a customer, you'll get some. But some users are not going to do any of those things. It could be anywhere between 95% to maybe 80%. If only 80% of your customers are bouncing, if you're collecting personal information and or making an actual transaction with 20% of your customers, that's awesome. You're doing a great job. You're doing a really, really good job. There's no question that you're buying traffic effectively. You have a good page. You have a good process. It's very low friction. But even if you're doing really well, you've got that 20% conversion rate, you still got 80% of your customers who are bouncing. And we know they're interested. We know that they took time out of their day. If you're buying the Google paid search traffic, we know that they took time out of their day to go search for your product, and they didn't buy it, but that doesn't necessarily mean they don't still want to. So if they bounce, we can still get them with that remarketing tag. So we have remarketing tags. I recommend using both the Google tag and the Facebook tag. There could be situations where you'd want to buy traffic from other platforms as well, but in pretty much every single case, you want to buy the Google and the Facebook traffic. So you're going to have the Google and the Facebook tag on your site. That is going to communicate to those platforms that the user has been to your site, and then you can serve remarketing ads. So those could come in the form of banner ads or text ads, or they call them responsive ads, where Google can put it in a bunch of different formats. You just upload like a logo, maybe a lifestyle image or a brand image, and then you put your offer in there. It's a good idea to do discounts with remarketing ads. Maybe the customer went to buy and then they wanted faster shipping, but it was going to cost them some money. So you say free 2-day shipping, or save 10% if you come back to our site and complete your purchase. Or if it's a higher value purchase, like let's say you're talking about selling a house or a car, or a diamond ring. Maybe you need to provide the customer with more information, more education before they will complete that transaction. So that's how you want to think about using remarketing ads. You use remarketing ads to recapture revenue from users who bounced off your site. And that is that's what the process should. This is what your process should look like right now. And then you need to be systematically testing each element of the process. So what am I doing on the pre-click side? What am I doing on my landing pages? Could I be capturing more soft conversions? How are my remarketing ads performing? How smooth is the process all the way through the funnel? Whereas the old model, we had a really simple, easy paid click, go to the website, inbound lead, and we're profiting. This is a profitable model for a long time for a lot of people. Just this very simple, low effort process. But now that there's a lot more competition, our process needs to look a lot more like this. We need to be a little bit more sophisticated. We need to be able to create these additional touch points. Now, the key element that's going through all of these additional touch points is that first party data. The first party data could be the email address. It could be your existing CRM data, can also be a way to get access to first party data, but we're talking about bringing new customers into the funnel. So we need to be capturing leads on the website, whether that is with the main in-page content, maybe that's with popovers, or maybe it's with pixels, like we talked about. You want to have that Google and Facebook remarketing pixel on your site, so you're capturing that data. So the post-click optimization, like we talked about, is where we're going to capture that first-party data. So again, your landing page is the first opportunity that you're going to have to capture that first-party data. On the bounces, you're setting that remarketing tag, and that's allowing you to have the data point that, hey, I know that this customer has been to my website, so when this customer is out viewing viewing pages on the internet, then I can reach them with ads, I can bring them back. That soft conversion allows you to follow up with email and SMS, and then the optimizing for the primary conversion can also obviously be a source of leads. So what kind of tools do we need to set up? How do we need to get started to get started with this kind of stuff? The Google marketing platform, the primary tools, Google Ads, Google Analytics. If you want to buy Facebook traffic, that can expand the reach of your remarketing a little bit. But the key tools, you got to have Google Ads, Google Analytics set up, playing nice together. In some cases, like if you're a local business, if you're a brick and mortar and you want foot traffic, you need to add Google My Business. If you're an e-commerce retailer, you need to add Google Merchant Center. If you're doing any kind of SEO, and you really probably should be doing at least some, or at least have an idea about what your SEO is doing, it's Google Search Console is another tool that you'll want to set up and get synced in there. You want to get your Google marketing platform all working together in order to set this up. Now, if you don't already have an automated lead capture and automated customer follow-up process in place, MailChimp can be a really good tool to set up. And then on the landing page side, to create those relevant landing pages, to make sure that you've got your message aligned with customer intent to the maximum degree possible. WordPress is going to allow you to create landing pages and to easily port that data into MailChimp. Now, there's a lot of other website CMS softwares that you could use. There's Unbounce, there's Lead Pages. If you're trying to go more to the landing page optimization, what you see is what you get. Editors, maybe you've got a whole web dev team who's building out custom code, and that's how you're building your landing pages. And then you want to use a Marketo or a Salesforce. You want to be more advanced with the kind of CRM that you're using. But in any case, you're going to need some kind of a landing page platform to be able to capture the first party data, to capture the new customer information that you're going to then use to lead nurture. And then you're also going to need some kind of system to communicate with those people. And MailChimp is a fairly affordable fairly robust platform to allow you to at least start doing some of these things, and then you can always look at other platforms later. But we recommend a very simple, WordPress MailChimp connection to be able to execute against this lead nurturing process. So if you don't have your sales funnel set up correctly, if you don't have your post-click optimization set up correctly, then you're going to have, like we talked about, 80 to 95% of your users are just going to completely bounce off your website, and you're never going to follow up with them. You're never going to be able to make that sale. Remarketing can help you resolve that issue, because if you know somebody's been to your site, and if you've got enough traffic, even a particular category or a particular portion, or even all the way down to a single product or a single page, then you can serve remarketing ads based on that. Your soft conversions, a lot of businesses are not taking advantage of soft conversions. They're not trying to capture an email address when the user's getting ready to leave. They're not, they're not getting any kind of a significant sign-up rate for their newsletter, that kind of thing. So those soft conversions are a key place where a lot of businesses are losing customers out of the funnel. And then automated follow-up. You should absolutely have a series that you're using to nurture leads. You should be following up your customers to ask for referrals, to just to keep your brand top of mind. These are all important things that automated customer follow-up can help you out with. So these are places in the funnel where right now it's going to be leaky until you execute against that post-click optimization. So the channels that you need to get in place if you're going to be doing this stuff are your research intent non-branded search. What I consider a research intent non-branded search is kind of a keyword where you're learning about the product, or maybe you're searching about the problem that the product solves, but not specifically for the product. You're not including the difference between a research intent. A lot of times a research intent versus a purchase intent paid search query will look kind of similar. Maybe they've got two words in common, but the purchase intent, is could be talking about promo codes or discounts. Like now we know we've got some shopping behavior, right? I mean, maybe they're including the word buy. Maybe they're including a brand name. Maybe there's we're talking about cameras, and it could be you've got your Nikons and your Canons and all these different brands of cameras. Somebody who's searching for a specific Nikon model is showing a little bit more purchase intent, probably, in the balance of the data. Somebody who's searching for a specific camera model is probably a higher purchase intent than somebody who just searches cameras. So you've got your research intent non-brand, then your purchase intent non-brand, and then your lead nurturing, your branded traffic. You need to be defending your brand. I've got a blog post about that. It's called Brand Protection and Paid Search. If you want to learn more about that, you can check that out. You've got your retargeting, your review and referral requests, your social listing, customer service. These are all channels that you need to have in place and to have playing well together to have an effective post-click optimization program in place. So this is my basic checklist of all the different things that you need. You do need some display creative. If you want to be able to access video inventory, you've got to have video inventory. You've got to have your landing page platform set up. You've got to have these key communication points, your referral requests, your customer follow-up, your lead nurturing series, your upsells, your cross-sells. You should be looking at least starting the process of getting these things into place and starting to test them. And then once they're in place, then you're going to test, you're going to measure, you're going to test. And it's just, you're going to repeat that process over and over again until your system really can't get any better. So the overall strategy with post-click optimization is to prioritize and maximize the funnel, the lower funnel campaigns. We're going to be constantly testing. We're going to be constantly, looking for opportunities to improve. And then making sure that we're maximizing those touch points and creating, if we're going to go pay $5, $10, $20 for a click. I mean, you look at like the Gary Vaynerchuk example. I mean, he with Wine Library back in the day, as soon as Google Ads came out, he was buying the word wine for 5 cents a click, and he was selling a lot of wine. And nobody else was doing it. I mean, he was so the Google Ads attention was very, very low cost, and that allowed him to make a lot of money, using Google Ads. And then the wine keyword got more expensive because some other people caught on, but then he was still able to buy, Chateau, whatever 2012 Cabernet. He could buy a word like that for 5 cents. Until people caught on to that too. And now you're in a position where you've got a lot of people in 2019 saying, oh, Google Ads doesn't work, it's too expensive. And if you're using that old model, if you're just buying a keyword and driving it to your homepage and then expecting to profit, then yes, Google Ads probably is too expensive for you. But if you put this process in place and you have a reasonably frictionless path to your primary conversion, you've got landing pages that are relevant to the traffic that you're buying, you are capturing customer information and then using a lead nurturing, a marketing automation platform to follow up with those customers, and you're doing remarketing to try to capture that information from customers who weren't yet ready to give it, who bounced initially, then that's going to put you in a position to be successful. So our expected, the expected outcome from this, you should definitely be expecting to get a return somewhere between 4x and 12x, depending on your industry, depending on how well you implement it. That's it. Like if you go to spend the time and effort and money and resources that it takes to set up the elements of what I'm talking about, you should expect to see a much better return from really all of your advertising, all the traffic that comes to your site once you've got this process in place. It's going to perform better because you're going to have less traffic falling out of the funnel. You've plugged a lot of the leaks. You've got stuff in order so that when you're bringing new people to the site, when you're bringing new people, when you're introducing your brand to new customers, it's going to be more likely that they're going to make it all the way through the process. If you've got all these additional touch points, if you've done your post-click optimization, then your funnel's not leaky anymore. The customers who are going to buy are going to be a lot more likely to buy from you. And what a lot of people do though is instead of actually executing against this post-click optimization, what a lot of people like to do is they like to put the cart before the horse. They like to they want to go and get their brand in front of 100 million people, right? So let's say that you could, basically for free, you could connect with a Logan Paul or somebody, one of these major online influencers, and he's going to talk about your brand. He's going to get you 100 million people to know about you, to come. A lot of those people are going to come to your website. Well, that's great, but maybe you could do that. Maybe you could actually achieve this, and you could get a lot of people introduced to your brand. Now, if your post-click optimization is not complete, then you're going to miss out on a lot of the benefit that you could have gotten from that traffic, because these customers are going to be leaking out of the funnel. You're not capturing their email address. You're not following up with them. You're not capturing their phone number. You're not following up with them with SMS. Your landing page, your pages are too difficult to use. Your primary conversion isn't figured out. So you need to execute against the landing page, the lead capture, and the remarketing element of the post-click optimization in order to get the maximum bang for your buck out of the high funnel marketing that you're going to do, your awareness, your consideration stuff. So once you're ROI positive though, then you can scale. So once you've got your campaign set up in a way that you are able to profitably run paid search campaigns, that you're able to profitably buy some display remarketing, then that's going to let you know that now, okay, we can start looking at scaling. We can start looking at what are we doing for branding and awareness? What are we doing to influence the consideration part of the funnel? So if you want to execute against this stuff, then this is what you need to do. You got to decide how you're going to execute against the tasks that are required to set up the funnel, to get you some good Google traffic, to implement your landing pages, to implement your soft conversions. And then you can start to think about scaling. So right now we're at the end of October 2019. So let's say that you don't, and let's say that you don't have a good post-click optimization program in place. Now, what you could do, you could engage with my agency, Samurai Direct Response. You could start to get this stuff in market. You could lighten up on your awareness. Like if you've got a pretty big budget, then you could lighten up on your media for Q1 and Q2, because we're still going to be testing. We're still going to be optimizing. You're not really going to have a great conversion rate optimized funnel post-click optimization in place in probably January 1st. It'll probably be a little later than that. But then once we've got it in place 6 months, in 3 to 6 months, we can take you a long way from where you were towards really executing against this post-click optimization and really achieving a lot better results from the advertising that you're doing, because you've created these additional touch points. And then Q3, Q4 next year, you can really start to push and and scale up in terms of the revenue and the traffic that you're generating. So that is my take on post-click optimization. And I want to say thank you for joining me today for the Better Digital Marketing Podcast. If you have questions, please shoot them to me on Twitter. I'm the Samurai DR on Twitter. You can also find me at my website. You can send me an email there. I am accepting new clients right now. I do have some space in the calendar for new clients who want to work personally with me, whether that's on pay-per-click management as project. Maybe you want to fully retain my services in terms of strategy and all of the agency stuff that we can do for you. But in any case, thanks again for joining me today for the Better Digital Marketing Podcast, and I hope this helps you make your digital marketing better.